What's up, YouTube? This is Yemi from SWINGTRADEFX. I want you guys to give me a few minutes of your time because by the end of this video, you're going to realize that this is the only chart structure knowledge you need to turn profitable in the Forex market. Let's go. To start with, what is chart structure? So think of a chart structure as a concept. It's the backbone of the market. Think of the chart structure like your skeletal system. It's what gives you the right posture. So the chart structure of the market is what gives the market its trend. It's what makes us understand that this is an uptrend or a downtrend. So we have two types of chart structure. We have the bullish chart structure and the bearish chart structure, which you're going to see on your screen right now. So in the bullish chart structure, price is made up of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher low. While in the bearish chart structure, price is made up of lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows. So let us label them, right? We have a low. So abbreviation L is for low, H is for high, then higher low, HL, higher high, HH, high low, higher high, high low, higher high, higher low, and we have higher high right here. Okay. So in the case of the bearish, we have a high right here. Then we have a lower low right here. We have a lower high right here. We have a lower low right here. We have a lower high right here. We have a lower low. We have a lower high. We have a lower low. And we have a lower high. And we have a lower low. So simple. This is what the chart structure is all about. So this is the bullish. And this is the bearish. So now that we understand what these are, that essentially we can say a chart structure is the backbone of the market. And we have a bullish chart structure and a bearish chart structure. The bullish chart structure always indicates the uptrend, while the bearish chart structure always indicates the downtrend. The bullish chart structure is made up of a higher highs and higher lows sequentially, while we have the bearish chart structure is made up of the lower lows and the lower highs sequentially. So this concept is very simple, right? So the next thing we want to understand is how do this chart structure changes. When you know how this chart structure changes, then you can know how to use them to find opportunities in the market. So let me draw a bunch of graphical stuff on the whiteboard. So we have price moving on higher high, higher low, higher high, indicating a uptrend and a bullish structure. And price got to this point, it made a push, it made an exhaustion, it started to move on the lower lows and lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower lows. Then it got to this point, made a higher low again, and keep moving and keep moving and keep moving. So what I want you guys to see here is we have some very important information. So now remember that we said that the market, the bullish structure is made up of what? The low. So let me take this as the low. Then we have the higher high, right? Then we have the higher lows. Then we have the higher highs. Then we have the higher lows. Then we have the higher highs. Then we have the higher lows. Then we have the higher high right here. Then we have the higher lows. Then we have the higher high. Then one thing that you can see right here is now we have a lower low. And why do we classify this as a lower low? That's because something has happened right here. This low right here has broken this previous low. So now what does this mean? That means we have a change of structure right at this point. The moment this lower high got broken right at this point right here. That means this chart structure has changed from the bullish trend to a significant bearish trend. So let me mark that out. Let me mark that out. So what I want you guys to see here is the fact that the last higher low. So I'm going to draw a graphical annotation. So what we want to see is this is the last higher low, and the fact that the market actually broke this low at this point right here signify the presence of the bears in the market. So what the price do? Price went back to form a lower high, and this moment right here is where the market turns into a sell, and you can be looking actually for your sell trade. You can be looking actually for your sell trade to this point. So this is exactly what I want you guys to see. So in essence, as a rule in the Forex trading world, the moment a higher low breaks and a new lower low, which is lower than the previous low, forms, it tells us that we have a chain of structure from the bullish to the bearish. So that is the point where we can find a trade opportunity. Okay, so right here we have a trade opportunity right here to sell the trade to the downside. Now in the case of a buy, right, so let's keep labeling. We have price now give us what? A lower high. Then we have price give us a lower low. Then we have price give us a lower high. Then we have price giving us a lower low. Then we have price giving us a lower high, which is the characteristics of a downtrend or a bearish structure, right? We have a lower low right here. We have a lower high right here. And we have a lower low right here. But what happened right here? We have a high. That means at this point right here, we're now seeing a high forming that's higher than the previous high. So which makes us label this as what? A higher high. Then now we have a low that's higher than the previous low. This low is higher than this previous low, which make us label this as what? A higher low. A higher low, which is where the new structure now begin to form. So now what does that mean? That means that at this point right here, when price broke this point right here, that means we have a situation where this lower high got broken, and what's right at this point right here. So what does that tells us? Give me a second. Yeah. So to connect it together. So what does that tells us? Now, this tells us right here that we actually do have a trade opportunity to the upside right here. So now we have a trade opportunity right at this point, okay, to this point. So do we have another trade opportunity right here? Yes, we have a trade opportunity. So with everything on the screen right now, the point I'm trying to make here is when you understand this focal point, right, these areas right here and these areas right here, this concept is enough to make you as much as you want in the Forex market. Okay, so this concept will tell you that the moment the higher low gets broken right here and form into a lower low, right, you wait for a retracement and you enter on the next lower high. The moment a lower high gets broken in the case of sell trade turning into a buy trade or bearish structure changing into the bullish structure, wait for the break of the lower highs, let the higher high form, then enter on the higher low. It's that simple and straightforward. So now that we understand that, let us now move into the live chart to see examples, real life example of this. So now let's look at it, right? So let's look at this Euro USD, for example. We have the lower lows, lower high, lower lows, the lower high, the lows, the lower highs, the lows, the lower highs, the lows, the lower highs, And what do we have right here? We have the lows, and now we have the lower high. Now, something really interesting happened right at this point. And what's the interesting thing that happened? We see the break of this low right here. So we see the break of this high right here. So apparently we have a situation. So let me take it out. We have a situation right here where the last high got taken out. So the next thing for you to do is wait, right? So we have a lower high right here. Oh, wait, guys, before we even get to that point, right? So we have a lower high. Let's keep making sense with it, right? So I said that we have a lower high right here. Then what did happen right here? I saw the formation of a new low, which is what? Higher than the previous low. Can you see? So this low is higher than this previous low. So in that case, what do we have right here? This right here forms into our higher low, which is the first indication that the market might be changing its trend. So now what had happened? Remember the overall rule. I want to see the last lower high gets broken. So what happened right here? When price got to this point, it took off this last lower high right here. So what does that mean? That means that at this point where price got to this point, I already have what seemed to be a change of a structure from a bearish structure to a bullish structure. So what do I have to wait? I wait for the next higher low to form. And what actually happened right here? You can see right here that we have a new formation. Sorry, you can see right here that we have the new low formed, and right after this point, right, we have price begin to go to the upside. So what does that tells us, right? So that tells us that if I want to take this trade, right, I've seen the break of the structure right here, and I'm only going to take this trade. I'm only going to take this trade right at this low right here. And if I'd taken this trade right at this low right here, what could I have actually made out of this trade? I would have actually been in profit, right? And what do I have to do when I'm in profit? I start to I put my stop loss right on this level, which is right here. The moment price continues to move, what do? I move my stop loss to the next low. It continues to move. It gets broken. Now you can see a new higher low has been formed, indicating a new trend to the upside, right? As price takes this high off and begin to form into a new low, I bring down out my stop loss and put it right here. As price takes this high off again and forms into a new low, what do? It's very simple. I bring out my stop loss below this point again. And this is how you keep going over and over. And these concepts are in the market. Now, let us look for another example on the case of uptrend turning into a downtrend. It's very, very simple. We have many, many examples of them in the market. So let's look at this, right? We have price making a higher low. So let me indicate this by the green. So we have price making a higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, indicating what? A uptrend, higher highs and higher lows, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, then higher highs, right? What happened right at this point? It's very simple. We have the market take out this low right here. So the moment the market takes this low right here, let me indicate this with a red right here. All we have to wait is what? The last higher low has been broken right here. And all you have to wait is for price to give you a retest at this point, and you can sell your trade. Now, when you sell your trade, what does it look like? The moment price take off this low right here, the moment price take off this low, sorry, take off this low right here, which is right here, and form into a new lower high, and it took off this level, you put your stop loss right here. If you put your stop loss right there, definitely, since this is the daily time frame, you could have made about 166 pips in profit right, before it moves again. And you can see just right immediately what had happened right here. We have this last lower high right here. So price came back to this last lower high. What had happened right here? It's very simple. Price took this out again. So what do? You wait for the retracement again for this low. Upon this low, what do you do again? You get into your trade opportunity for a buy. And this is the sequence that you can see in the market. So if you're taking a buy right here, you'll have been in profit and keep managing your stop loss behind this low and this low before it took you up. So this is a very easy concept to use in the market. Just understand the fact. So let's get back to our whiteboard. All you need to understand in the market is the fact that when the price wants to change from a bullish structure to a bearish structure, all you got to do, right, is just wait for the higher low to be broken and form into a lower high, or wait for what? A lower high to form into a break and form into a higher low. So that is just the basic concept of trading the chart structure. Now, before we finish this class, there's something very interesting I want to show to you guys. How do you use this understanding of the basic change of chart structure to make explosive profits in the market by trading a higher time frame structure on a lower time frame? That's very, very simple. It's a very simple concept. So let's look at it, for example. So say this is the daily time frame right here, and price is moving on the lower lows, a lower highs, lower lows, and the lower highs. Obviously, we have a downtrend characterized by lower low, lower high. Now, I'm going to draw another mini structure out, which is just a bunch of structures, let's say on the 4 hours time frame, which is the next time frame to the daily time frame on the MT4. So now, one thing I want you guys to see that on the 4-hour time frame, this is not just going to be like structures like this. It's not just going to be like this, right? No, it's definitely going to be something really small because markets are going to be moving a smaller fractals, right? Price will keep giving us a smaller lower high, lower lows to form this high, lower high. And what you can see right here is a change of structure. Then price starts to form into a higher low again. It starts to form into a higher low again, and a higher low, a higher high. Then you can see again that we have price took off this level and retraced, and we can see a sell case scenario, right? Again, it keeps going down, it keeps going down, it keeps going down, it keeps going down, it keeps going down. Then we have a break again, indicating a uptrend. And this is exactly what price does on the lower time frame. Then we have a break again, and price keep, going down and going down and going down and going down and going down. So the idea of this is this, yeah. How are you able to see a structure on the bigger time frame, which is what? Just a bunch of highs. Which is just a bunch of highs right here, lower lows. You can see lower high, lower lows, then the lower high, then the lower low, right? So let me make it more clearer. Let me take this off and annotate it with something much more nicer. So now the idea is this, yeah. When this is the lower high and this is the lower lows, and this is the lower high and this is the lower lows, how are you able to take specific trades, right, for like a sell right here? And how are you able to take specific trade for a buy right here? How are you able to take specific trades for a sell right here? And how are you be able to take specific trades for a buy right here for what? The next continuational, push, and change the structure to the uptrend. That is the concept I want to show you guys. So the first thing you want to do is understand the concept of structure change. Now, understand that within a big structure, there are a bunch of small structures which is what I've shown to you guys right on this slide. So let's go to the live chart example. Two knowledge you need to have: the knowledge of change of structure, and number two, the knowledge that a big time frame structure has a bunch of smaller time frame progressive structure in the direction of the trend. So what do I mean? So you can see we have a swing low to the downside. You can see the bunch of structure that made this swing low. Sorry, you can see the bunch of structure that made the sell, right? Now to the high part, you can see the bunch of structures that made this buy. Now to the sell part, again, you can see the bunch of structure that made this this sell, right? That made the sell to this point right here. So let me take this off so that it shouldn't confuse us. Now to the buy side again, you're going to see the bunch of structures that make this, into a buy and sell and buy. So this is the idea that I want you guys to understand, in the Forex market. So how are you able to take specific trades at this cardinal point? This cardinal point to your advantage, understanding this. So let's go to the live chat. If you understand this concept, I promise you, man, you're going to be able to make explosive profits just with this knowledge in the Forex market. So the first thing I want us to do is let us go to maybe like a higher time frame. Let's go to maybe like a higher time frame and let's make sense of it. So for example, let me open a new chart. Let me load up a template. Let me load up the template real quick. So now let's go to the daily time frame. So let's look at the past of historical data. So let's look at this, for example. You can see when price started to move to the uptrend, right? When price started to move on the USD CHF, yeah. Look at what price did right here. Price moved. Let me take this off. So look at what price did right here. Price gave us a swing to the downside, then a lower high, because this lower high couldn't take off this high. So we have a high, lower, a high right here. We have a high that is lower right here. What was the next thing? You can see price broke down into a more lower structure. What is the next thing we can see? Price broke into a lower high structure, right? And what can we see right here? Price broke into a lower low structure. And what do we see right here? Price broke into another lower high structure. And what do we have right here? Price broke into a higher low structure. And what happened right here? Price broke up to give us. And all you can see right here is price giving us a very strong, break to the upside. And right here, we have a new high right here. So what is the concept? So the concept of this is very simple, right? How am I able to make trades within this big structure, right, on the lower time frame? Because I can't be waiting for the higher time frame structural chain before I enter into a trade. So how am I able to take full advantage of what I see on the daily time frame on the lower time frame, relatively 4 hours or the 1 hour time frame, using the exact concept that I showed you guys? So let's identify this out. So we have this lower high, then we have the high, we have a low right here, then we have a lower high right here, then we have a lower low right here. Can you guys see it? Then we have a lower high right here, then we have a lower low right here, which gives us an idea that this market is actually a bearish market. Now, one thing that we see right here is the fact that price still came back. It couldn't take off this low, so we have another lower high right here. But something really incredible happened right here. We had our first higher low structure right at this point, right? And what is the next thing that we're going to be having? We have price took off this high right on this level, indicating that this was the point where the structure changed, where the last lower high got broken right here, and you can see the retracement, right? And what do we have right from this level? We had nothing but bullish push the uptrend. So this is what the structure looks like on what the daily time frame. So now let's go to the 4 hours time frame and let's make sense of all of this and let's start taking trades. So say the price was on this high before. So let me bring it out. So price was definitely on maybe like a higher low, some sort of like higher low like this before, and it got to this point higher high, and price got to a point of retracement. So what do we have right here? The moment now within this spot, you can see the price has been moving higher low, 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 and higher low. So one thing that really stood out, you guys, is that we have a higher low right here changed into a lower high structure right at this point. So what does this mean? That means within the bigger structure, which was exactly the same thing that I showed you guys right here. Remember, this is the same thing I showed you guys right here on the whiteboard, right? That when price got to this point now, we have a smaller structure that makes up the bigger structure. It's exactly the same thing that I'm showing you guys right here. So what did happen right here? We had this change of minor structure right here. And what do we have, right here? We have price begin to move in what a bearish market. And if you had entered this trade at this point, all you have to do right at this point is just to keep moving your stop loss behind the lower highs, the lower highs, and the lower highs. Now, the moment price got to this lower high and the lower low, right, you will have made some very, very decent numbers of pips from this point right here to this lower high, to this lower lows and lower high. The reason why I said to this point is because right at this point, this is the point where we're gonna have let me take this off real quick. Yeah, so what you can see right here is that this was the last lower high right here, and you can see the price came back to this lower high. So as of this point right here, we will have been hit out on our stop loss. So now what do we have right here? We have a situation right here where we're able to take this trade from this point to this point, which is about 1:5 if you look at it right literally. So now the moment that price turned this into a resistance right here, what does this mean? It hit us out, we have to wait. Then one thing that we realize right on this spot is the fact that price now started to make what seemed to be our first higher low. Now, what did happen right here? The moment we have this candle break right here, it indicates that the last lower high has been broken. So that means a new swing on the daily time frame, a new swing on the daily time frame is about to form to the upside, to the next lower high, which is in direction of the total trend. So now upon this break, if you are taking your trade right at this point, if you're taking your trade right at this point and you put your stop loss right below this point, you will have been adjusting your stop loss accordingly. It made a new low, adjust your stop loss. It made a new low, adjust your stop loss, and price must have taken you out right at this point, right? So the fact the price has already taken you out at this point, you've made a very good about 1:2.8 to 3% trade on this, right? So let me clear all annotation off and let me bring the chart further. So now what do we have again? We have price is now hitting a major lower high on the daily time frame. So what do we have again? The same thing. Wait for the break of what the low right here, right? A break of higher low forming into a lower high can only tell us one thing, that a downtrend is about to happen. And after that happened, what do you see, right? You see an immediate crash of the market to the downside to take off the low that it was before. So now, what do we have? Definitely, we're going to have our stop loss right above this level. It gives us a new lower high, back to this level, a new lower high, back to this level, a new lower high, back to this level. So what do we have right here? We have our last lower high right here, and we would have made about 1:5 trade right here. So something happened. We saw this last lower high got tested right here, only for it to break it again, right? So now that this last lower high got tested right here, it formed into number one. One thing I want you guys to see right here, the price formed into is a new higher low, right? So the moment price broke it right at this level, that means for sure we have another trade opportunity right here. Now, can you see right here? Then all you have to do is keep moving your stop loss behind the last low, behind the last low. You can see this is the last low right here before price hit a major lower high again on the daily time frame. So what had happened again, right? You would have easily seen a change of structure right at this level, right? So a change of structure tells us that what? When the last higher low is been broken, right, then we have a change of structure. So what do we have in essence? We have a bearish structure in game because higher low has been broken to give us a new lower high indicating a bearish structure. So you will have been putting your stop loss behind every highs, right, behind this most recent high until price gets to this point again. And what did price do when it gets to this point, right? If it broke the last lower high again, indicating what? The presence of a strong bullish trade. Now, the moment price broke this point right here, it gave us the retest right at this point, right? We would have entered our trade right at this point, hoping to ride it up as well again. But what happened right here, and this is very beautiful for us to see, something interesting happened right here. And what is the interesting thing that happened right here? Price, you can see the price could not take off this level right here, the high. So what does it mean? We have a failed structure. So what does it mean? You must have hit a stop loss right at this point. But hey, listen, look at this here. You've already made a trade of a sell to this level. You've already made a buy trade to this level. You've already made a sell trade to this level, which is at least minimum of 1:3 to about 1:3 to 1:5 per each trade. You only lose this point, right, for price to go to the downside. And if price breaks this to the downside, you can continue this level, but maybe you leave it and see the new low that price wants to form. And when price forms this low, what do you think is going to happen again? You continue the same thing over and over again. You wait for the last lower high to form, which means price has been moving, on lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. We have a lower high, we have a lower high right here. So this is the point right here where you identify this. The moment it broke, what do you have again? You keep trailing your stop loss under every high and high and high and high, and you keep going on and on and on. So I believe I've shown you guys the true concept of trading structures in the market. And I hope you guys find this really helpful. If you think this is amazing and this has been helpful and insightful in your trading so far, I want you to please like, share, and subscribe to get more weekly and more daily Forex educational video. So thank you guys so much. This is Yemi again from SWINGTRADE I want you guys to watch this over, practice it on your live chart, and trust me, you can make insane profit in the market using just the knowledge of the chart structure. Now, to increase odds in your favor, you can combine this knowledge of chart structure with other tools like the trend line, like the support and resistances that you can see that we're using. But definitely the first knowledge you need to have primarily in the market is the knowledge of the chart structure. See you guys in my next video. Thank you guys so much.